This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. So Keith asked me to put together an intro, right? He had two videos that he was working on, one on the guitars, I believe, of Paul McCartney, and one on the guitars of, who obviously you know from the band, the Rolling Stones. No, the Beatles. And there's a few tunes in my life that I kind of really, really dig by the Beatles, but growing up as someone who's now in my 30s, my parents were never sort of huge Beatles fans. My dad was big into Thin Lizzy and Gary Moore, so that's kind of the route that I ended up listening to quite a bit of music. And so the Beatles is stuff that I've kind of ended up exploring through various ways in however they come up. I don't know if there's anyone else out there like me who's like got like a very surface level understanding of the Beatles and stuff like that, but I played in a 60s band with Des and Gary, Carnaby Street, and I played a couple of tunes in that band. So 8 Days a Week, I think, remains one of my favourite ones that I played with them. Hey Jude is quite a cool one that we used to end sometimes, but maybe a little bit on the overplayed side. Saw Her Standing There we used to do quite a lot. And what's the other one? There was another one. But those are not my favourite Beatles tunes. So I remember the very first Beatles tune that I can remember identifying as being by the Beatles and kind of digging was Help. And this was in a skateboarding video. And I've done this tune in a duo setting later on. But yeah, that was the first one that kind of just stuck out to me as just being a really well written song. You know, and that's, yeah, so Help is the one on the list that I dig for sure. My all-time, I think, favourite two Beatles songs are Eleanor Rigby, which I think is probably to be expected. I think that's probably a bit of a casual take, but I think for me, I just love that tune and the use of the string quartet and stuff. And also She's Leaving Home, which is a fairly similar-ish tune, right? So those two, for me, stand out in the catalogue. I won't give you a rendition of them, but that one I really love. And then She's Leaving Home, I can't remember what key it's actually in. You know, all that sort of stuff. But I think those are, for me, the top most beautiful tunes. One that I've not heard enough to know whether I really like it or not, but every time I've heard this song come up, it's been like, wow, what is that? The tune's something. There's just something about that tune that really stands out to me as being kind of weird, but also beautiful and all that sort of stuff. Blackbird, an incredible tune and just a beautiful kind of riff. And there's a Jacob Collier cover of it, but I think the original tune is just so beautiful. You know, all that sort of stuff. I've never learnt it, you know, particularly specifically, but just kind of surface level. I don't know, what do you get with the Beatles? I think with some of the later stuff, what you really get is kind of pretty beautiful chord progressions, sometimes quite unusual, and very beautiful melodies. And so I think that remains something that has been true still to this day, as well as showing what could be done if you were creative with pretty limited technology, right? I think that's a fair kind of representation of what the Beatles were about in terms of, you know, really pushing what could be done with the technology at the time. And in a way, the music kind of then and the recordings kind of stand the test of time because they were kind of pushing the envelope in a way. I'm going to just quickly consult my list because there's some other tunes. There's also, I'm looking at a list of all their songs here, and there's so many that I've never heard, and I probably need to change that. I used to like playing Money as well. That's got a really cool riff in it. And I think I taught a kid Day Tripper. Oh, Come Together, a really groovy tune. I really like that one because it kind of stands out to me as being a little bit different. A Day in the Life I kind of studied at school, but there's just so many tunes in there, and I think even someone who thinks that they're maybe not a fan of the Beatles, I've heard people say this, that like they hate the Beatles and stuff, and it's just to me kind of a bit of a red flag when you meet somebody who's telling you that, because I don't know, if you dig into their stuff, and not even, you don't have to dig too far to find things I think that speak to a lot of kind of what music is about, to me at least. Keith suggested a tune by Wings, which I was sort of hinting at in the intro there, which I hadn't really heard properly. Band on the Run. For these tunes, basically what I do is kind of take some sort of inspiration from how the tunes kind of speak to me. So it might be that I just listen to what the progression's actually doing, and then kind of take that, and maybe I take elements of the groove and then sort of improvise around with it. It's not a case of just sitting down and playing the things note for note, because obviously that would get me a copyright strike. But let me know in the comments if you still listen to the Beatles regularly, or if you found them through kind of organic means, or whether you think they're still relevant or not. For me, I think definitely yes. Oh, Yesterday, obviously an amazing tune, and I think this one I used to have a demo of on a keyboard that I used to play. Let me see if I can play it. And the answer is no. But yeah, the Beatles, I think, still hugely relevant, and especially if you're kind of into this kind of chord melody type stuff, there's probably, for me, except for the jazz stuff, no greater catalogue of stuff to work out than the Beatles. So something maybe I'll do as I get older.